So next, we've had a request from the Portland Association of Teachers President Suzanne Cohen to address the board. So I'd like to ask President Cohen to come forward.
Thank you. Students, parents, teachers, and community members have come together tonight to voice concerns about the start of the school year. And I have to say that I'm concerned about public comment being moved to later in the evening because the same reason that I came and signed up to use this time is knowledge that you had. So it was using social media that in different groups that many of you are part of, that the conversation started from a kindergarten teacher who was concerned about her students' learning environments. And very quickly, parents started chiming in and wondering what could they do about this class size. And so from then, it grew on social media, and it started with a kindergarten teacher saying 28 students is too many. And quickly, we heard from the first grade teachers that 30 was too many. And it went on where middle school teachers were talking about 180 is too many. So educators are really concerned about learning environments, and we're concerned about our workload. So I'm not sure if other people will be addressing you later this evening during public comment or a next board meeting, but I do want to acknowledge that this came about from parents and teachers that were concerned. And are there any people here that are concerned about class size or caseload? So before I start expressing the concerns that I've heard, and I actually asked people to give more input for tonight since I had the opportunity to speak, I want to make sure that you're ready to listen. So there might be some thoughts going on in your head right now about when you were a student, your class size, or maybe your own child's class size, or maybe you're thinking about the budget right now. And all of these things are barriers to really hearing the impact of the decisions, and I'm asking you to kind of calm those thoughts for a second and really listen not only to what I'm saying tonight, but when educators come before you in the future to speak, and parents about our students' learning conditions, and hear them out on it. And I also want to be clear that this is not a concern over the district's ability or inability to implement a policy. This is concern over the policy. We have concerns that a kindergarten class size is set to be acceptable at 28. That's not okay. And so in that back to school video, yes, there were students smiling. And let's be really, really clear about why they're smiling. They're not smiling because they got a visit from the superintendent-to-be or the board chair. They are smiling because they are excited to be back in school with the educators who see them every day. And your job as district leaders is to make sure those educators can smile back. So let's start with kindergarten. This is one story, but I felt like it resonated with a bunch of the stories that we were hearing from kindergarten. So school starts, and there's a student with some pretty extreme needs. They're biting, they're kicking, they're throwing things off the shelf, punching other students. So the kindergarten teacher is seeking assistance, and one of the first things she's told is, we don't do one-on-one paras. I'm not actually sure if that even is a district policy or not, because we just read something in the paper about how some students do get one-on-one paras. But either way, what you're doing is damaging the learning conditions and increasing workload. So either there's bureaucracy and hoops to climb, and you have to know the system to actually access these resources, which is an unfair system, or if you believe that, oh, okay, we don't do it, and so this is what's normal and what's right for my classroom. And then she confided that last year she had a class size of 18 and one student with high needs, and she felt she was, it was difficult, but she was maybe able to do something about it. She told me that this student was only the most extreme. She had 4 others with pretty high needs, and that now her class size is 28. And she broke down, and she wondered how she was going to make it through the year. This also leads to special education services for our most vulnerable students, and I would also say one of our most overworked staff group. So there's vacancies all over the district, and it's no surprise why these positions are hard to fill. So early reports are showing high schools with caseloads over 40 students. And then with the move to inclusion without support resources, common planning time, any of the things that could actually help this be successful. These moves to new programs without the supports and resources is echoed through other departments. So our services for English language learners, specifically 3rd through 5th grade, has changed. It's changed before any of the services or supports are in place, before anyone knows how to do it, and before any common planning time has been built in, which results in an overworked general education teacher, an overworked English language teacher, and the end result is those students are not getting their needs met. And so I do want to read you one quote from an English language teacher who actually, the question was started posing like, what is the ratio for us? And they're wondering, is it 50 to 1? And so here's the story. Last year, we started with 58 students, and we had 1.5 educators. This year, I'm close to 50, and it's just me. I have 3 newcomers and no newcomer classes because I'm spread very thin. And then this gets echoed for our counselors. So that was a position we worked hard to rebuild, then it got cut, and then we chose to invest money to restore those positions. And our counselors, one has been told, counselors have flexible lunches, so they need to cover all midday duty needs, which leaves this counselor wondering, when do I do my Gay Straight Alliance Club? What about middle school leadership? What about my suicide prevention team? In middle school, I was privy to an email exchange where we had 2 educators who had 4 preps and 180 students. And they were trying to, in addition to all that work, manage the schedule and offer things like, maybe if I didn't teach this one elective and I only had 3 preps, maybe then I can squeeze my body in between the chairs of my overcrowded classrooms and try to give my students the attention they need. At a time where we're unable to provide students with the wraparound services and the mental health supports and the community interests that we have, our students shouldn't have to compete with each other for some 1 minute of individual attention from their educator. I'm really glad that you're getting to celebrate the first day of school. We love our students. We are so happy to be with them and see them. But in your tour, did you meet the 4th grade teacher who the day before school was told, oh, the numbers, you're gonna teach a 4-5 blend, and by the way, that's unsupported, you've got 2 curriculums and no supports and no time to make this work. We need work relief now. You are hearing from me tonight, but there will be others, and we are fighting for the schools our students deserve. Thank you for your time.
So we've already had a fair amount of comment this evening